Good morning to you and welcome to our crafting session this morning. My name's Jenny McCormack. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I'm based in the market town of Brackley, which is in the centre of England. I always say the UK, but in fact it's not necessarily the centre of the UK. So welcome to my session this morning. I've decided, excuse me, today to revisit a technique which I first learnt when I was introduced to Stampin' Up. And I remember the very first stamp set that I used with this. And when I saw this particular stamp set, Corner Bouquet, it reminded me of that first stamp set. And I thought it would be a good idea to revisit that technique again. I do use it throughout the year actually. You will see me use this technique, and it's basically using our Stampin Write markers direct onto the stamp so that you have multicoloured images on your stamp. So let us get cracking. So the stamp that I'm using is, as you can see, is called Corner Bouquet, and this is actually one of the free stamp sets that you can get during celebration. Morning Tracy. Morning Molly. Yeah, so it's a free item in celebration. Sorry, got distracted there. And if you spend £45 or more, then you can choose a free item from this celebration catalogue. So most of my customers will have received theirs. There is a bunch in the post at the minute. I'm not sure what the post is like currently. So if you hadn't received yours, feel free to message me and I can double check that it's on its way to you, and if not, get one popped in the post for you today. And the free items consist of papers and also stamp sets. So I have used the Darling Donkeys. I used that earlier on, and yesterday I used some of the papers to create this card, and I used some of the papers with the Darling Donkeys as well. So feature really of the free celebration sets this week. Hi Carol, hi Jacqueline, hi Scylla. Thank you all for joining us. So my plan is to make a square card. So I've got some pieces of Whisper White here, and I've got a base of Highland Heather. And morning Carol G. And my plan is to use this stamp here, hi Jeanette, and colour in the main part of the image with green ink, and then just pick out these flowers in my selection of purples. So I've got Granny Apple Green, I've got Purple Posy, Highland Heather and Gorgeous Grape. I'm not quite sure whether I use all of those or a mixture of those. The Stampin' Write markers are water-based markers, and it's a similar ink that is in our classic stamping pads. It's slightly different in that it's got some fluid added to make it work in the marker, but other than that it's the same. It's a water-based ink. And what I'm going to do is apply the ink straight to the stamp. Now you can't do this technique with alcohol markers like our blends pens, because these are designed to for the alcohol to lay down the colour and then evaporate, so you can't use it on a stamp because it will just dry almost instantly on the stamp itself. So those are our stamping blends, and for this technique we're using our Stampin' Write markers. And you can buy these in sets of 10, and also there are 2 sets of 5 for the in colours, so you can buy them in a pack, for example, of 5 like so. These are our in colours. I've taken the Purple Posy from here. It's quite a good way to get started as a brand new crafter. You could buy yourself a set of 5 pens, for example, some note cards and envelopes, and you could be up and running fairly quickly. So let's give this a go. So there's 2 really nice corner images, as you can see. There's this one here, which is larger, and then this smaller one. So my plan is to use the piece of Whisper White which I've got. The size of this card is just under 4 inches square. So the card is cut actually to it's actually 99 millimeters, because then you can get 3 folded cards out of an A4 sheet by scoring down the middle and then cutting the 2 elements across there. So I'm going to be using the Whisper White, which I've actually cut to 92 millimeters to give me a little border. And what I'm going to do is going to ink up this stamp and then stamp it just off the edge. I know you can't necessarily see that, because I want this bit to be sort of off and out of the way, if you like, so it's not sitting in mid-air. So I am deliberately going to stamp it off the edge. So the technique involves using the markers onto the stamp. So one of the easiest way to do it, which is great if you've got a small stamp, but a little bit more time consuming with a larger stamp, is to take the wider tip. So you have 2. You have a very narrow tip here for writing and a broader tip, and then use the edge of that to brush over the stamp. Hope you can see that. I've got Granny Apple Green as my colour, so you can see the moisture of the ink as much as the ink colour itself. So what you can do is ink all the way over, and I'm just going over that middle section, and then I'm picking out a few stems. I appreciate you probably can't see that detail. I haven't got any lights on, but it looks like it's quite light for you to see. So I'm just going to ink this up with my pen. So make sure you're using the side of the pen. If you do it from the top, you'll be there a very long time. You can also, if you put too much pressure on the point, you can also damage the tip of your pen, which you don't want to do. So I'm not being extremely accurate on my placing, so there may be some bits of flowers that I miss, there may be some greenery I miss, but it's the overall effect that I'm looking for. Now I am going to show you a different technique for another card, which is, rather than using the pen, is use the ink to ink up the majority of this, and then wipe off some of the green and add the colour, especially if you've got a large area to cover. So I've got that in the green. Now that will sit there on the stamp. It will dry slightly, but I'm going to use the moisture of my breath to re-moisten that a little bit. So I've got Gorgeous Grape, so I'm just going to pick out some of these flowers. If I leave that there, that makes it quite a good indicator as to which flowers are which. It's quite difficult to see when you've got it, obviously this is in reverse anyway because it's turned over, but I'm going to use the Gorgeous Grape for those sort of larger flowers here, and then a different colour for this, like it's almost like a teasel, isn't it, but we'll go with the flow. So while I'm doing this, I hope everybody is well this morning into our official lockdown. So I know a lot of people will struggle, so do hop on and join me if you want a bit of a break from every day, as I'm live every day here. So that is one of those. Let's just put a little bit of colour in those ones. And then I'm going to swap to Highland Heather. for the teasel ones. So I can see there's like 3 main teasel shape. I know they're not teasels, but hey ho. And this is a really nice image for a silhouette stamp as well. I was thinking stamping it in brown and early espresso would look really nice, of course. Okay, and this is the light one, Purple Posy. I think I've got all of them. It'll be close enough. Okay. Morning, Jill. So what I'm going to do is breathe on that, and the ink is there, but I want it to be able to transfer onto my card. So by breathing on it, we'll just add that little bit more moisture. Let's move this out of the way. And I'm going to stamp on here. I'm going to bring it down so it's a bit closer to me. It's quite a big stamp, obviously. And I'm deliberately taking the whole thing off the left-hand side. Now I know I will lose some of that, but I want that effect of it being off the corner, almost like you're looking out of a window. So good amount of pressure. And there we go, that's our corner stamp. So you can see the darker ones here, and the Highland Heather, and then the Purple Posy. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it on the other side, but I'm going to show you a slightly different technique. What I am going to do is stamp a sentiment first, and I have fancy phrases here, and I'm going to use birthday wishes for this one. So one of the other things you can do with the pens is select sections of a stamp to use. So if you didn't want wishes, you wanted happy birthday, for example, and you had happy from somewhere else, you could just pick out the word birthday, for example, or you could do them in 2 colours. So let's do that. That would be a bit more use, but you can, as I say, use them to omit sections of a stamp just by highlighting the bit that you want with the pen. This is more effective than stamping and then sort of rubbing over to get rid of the colour. Let me just show you what that looks like. I had a spare piece somewhere here. Okay, so if you didn't want birthday wishes and you just wanted birthday, just put this up on the top right hand side. Then that's how you'd get just a part of the sentiment. Morning Wendy, thanks for joining us. Okay, so sometimes we have sentiments that you don't necessarily want the whole part of it. So for example, sending a little smile your way, you might just want sending a little smile. So you could just ink up that part of it. Or here it says keep it in case you need it sometime. You could just have keep it in case. Or a little something and miss out just for you. Okay, so there's lots of different things that you can do with the pens. I'm pretty sure I did a feature one week on a Facebook Live of using the Stampin' Write markers right the way through. So as I've got the pen here, let's do birthday wishes right the way across. As I say, it's a good way to get started with stamping. So if you know somebody who is stuck at home and looking for something new to do, or a hobby, or you just want to, you know, give them a little bit of a push in the direction of crafting for their well-being, then some pens, some note cards and envelopes and a stamp set would be a great way for them to get started. So I'm going to pop birthday wishes. I'm going to put it here. Like so. And then I'm going to do the same technique, inking up this stamp and just putting a little part of that corner up on the top right hand side. And that was why I put my sentiment on first, so I can see where to put the other element of the stamp. So to show you a slightly different technique, what we can do is ink up the whole of the stamp in green, and then use a cotton bud. You could also use the corner of a chamois, couldn't think of the word then, and then what you can do is actually take off the colour from the flowers, the ink, and then apply your other colour. It's not quite as accurate as doing it with this method, because obviously there might be some bits and pieces left in, but I think it works just as well. So just to show you that technique, it's a quicker technique, especially if you have a larger stamp. So I've just refilled this, which might have been a mistake because it's going to be very inky to remove, but hey ho. So inking that up, yeah, that's very inky, never mind. And then using the cotton bud, it has got paper middle, I promise. You can take the colour off individual parts of that. So this is another good way of only using a part of a stamp. It's not quite as accurate, as I say, as not inking it, because obviously there's a little bit of residue colour left of the green. And if you've got a big area, you might want more than one cotton bud to do that. But it still works. So there will be a slight, I'm just going to use another one to go over these here. So can you see that's taken off most of that ink. It's a case of whether you prefer to add it, stamp it all and take it away, or stamp it individually. So really, you know, your choice, depends on what you prefer. You could leave some of these green anyway. There we go. There's a little one here. I think that will be off the end anyway, and I am only going to stamp the sort of center part of this anyway, because I haven't got as much space. So I've cleaned those off. I hope you can see that. Can you see that okay? And now I can use I'm just going to use Highland Heather on this, just as a slightly lighter version right the way across, because I want the left hand corner image to do that's the main image I want to use. So I'm just bringing this all in. So remember, again, use the thick side, and you can tell that there's either a picture here and there's also a thick white stripe, and on the other side there's the smaller picture with the pen and then a thin stripe. So just colouring those in like so. So I hope everybody's got some nice weather today. It's sort of bright, it's dry like it was yesterday, but the wind was biting yesterday. I went out with my dog at lunchtime. My goodness, it was cold. she was happy because she was just chasing the ball around. Okay, so I've got green there that I've inked up. So this is going to be darker because I have just refilled that ink pad. So I'm still going to breathe on that so that this bit of pen has got a little bit more moisture on. And I'm just going to dab in a little bit of the darker colour in the centres. Okay, so, oh, put it on my lip. So now I've got green lips. Oh dear. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this in, and I'm using, I hope you can see actually because it's a little bit, bit of a shadow there, but I'll stamp it and you'll see where I'm coming from. And I'm just going to pop this in at a bit of an angle, like so. Oh, was it snowing? Oh, yuck. That's a bit too close for comfort, isn't it? There we go. So, obviously the green is very green, and you can see this bit of colour in here, but what I should have done was probably clean the stamp in between, but hey ho. But we've got this little bit of colour coming in, so it's not as crystal clear as doing it this way, but you still add a little element of colour. Okay, so let us mount that up. So I have got my square card, I just need to find it. There it is. So there's my square card, and I'm just going to add that on there, and then add in a little bit of detail with some bling. And I've just run out of all of my seal refills, can't believe it. And I think that's, well, normally I order refills regularly on a monthly basis because we use them obviously a lot at Coffee and Card, and I hadn't really spotted, because it was just me on my own here stamping and crafting, that I didn't have any spare, so they will be in my order for today. Okay, let's add a little bit of bling to that, and we're done. So this is a Stampin Write marker technique. As I say, it's age old, and it's a perfect technique to do as a beginner, but also, oh, quite a bit of snow. Oh gosh, how weird is that? So I'm between Jill and Scylla, both of whom have had snow, and we haven't had any here at all. Very strange. So I have got these rhinestones here, and I've got some gorgeous grape ones, so I'm just going to pop those around here. So I'm going to add 3 of the same size. Oops, pop out, and 3. So Wendy, who joined us this morning, was asking about, I'll just ping that over myself, about our Let's Get Creative event. And I can say that Scylla, Jill, Jeanette, Carol and Molly have all been to one of our events. So obviously we used to have these in person before COVID, and now they're online. So our first proper online one was the last one that we had, and our next one is coming up in February. So if anybody wants to say anything about those to Wendy, then please do. It's a great fun day. There's three of us all together that run the event. Oh, hi Brenda, no worries. And we have a great fun day crafting The videos are uploaded on the day, which you can craft along in your own time. So there's 3 different classes using 3 different sets of products, and there's a stamp set included, but you can swap that out if you want to. And then we have Facebook Lives and competitions and raffle and stuff on the day. So there we go, that's that one there. Let me grab an envelope and just do the envelope, and we're done. And I would also, for this one, I would also do an insert. I don't know, with the light colour card it's not too bad. If it was if I use Gorgeous Grape, I would definitely have an insert to that. Oh, bless you. Thanks, Carol and Jeanette. So let's just get this stamp here. Just going to wipe it down and just do this corner one. And we're all done. So if anybody needs to dash off, that's the main part of the session this morning. So I will be back tomorrow and Friday. I can't believe it's Wednesday already. Live at 5. So 5 p.m. Thursday and Friday. No, that's one thing we don't do, Brenda, for Let's Get Creative, because it's top secret. And no, we don't. We do little sneak peeks for those that have booked, but the whole of the event is top secret until the day. Sorry about that. The only ones I do my sneak peeks of are my class in a box. So my current one, which is open for booking, is Hydrangea Hill. So I'm just going to do the very tops of these. So I'm just going to do what I say I don't normally do, which is not ink up the whole stamp. But I know I'm only going to have the very top bit, so I think I'll allow myself that. So Brenda's yes, Brenda's had been with us for our in-person ones. They're good fun, aren't they? So we have a craft chat room open as well, for those that want to natter. Right, so I'm just going to do some, wrong end, some inking up of this for the envelope. So it definitely takes a bit longer this way, but I just think it gives a better overall picture. That's what I should have done, thinking about it, was maybe wet the cotton bud a little bit. But then I was worried about it just moving the ink even further round. There we go. Thank you, Jeanette, my darling. I'm sure you've done this one many a time. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Achoo! Excuse me. Okay, so I'm just going to pop this on the corner, and that'll be our card and envelope all done. There we go. You see, this is why I always say ink up the whole stamp, because there's a little gap in there. What I might do is just add a little bit by pushing it onto there. There we go. Bless you. Thank you. There we are. I got away with that one, didn't I? So there we are, ladies. So this is using Corner Bouquet, which is a free stamp set with any order of £45 or more between now and the end of February. This is our card, and that's our envelope. So thank you for joining me, I look forward to catching up with you later in the week if you're around. So all it remains is for me to say, take care, look after yourselves, look after your loved ones, and hopefully I will see you for some more crafting either tomorrow or in the near future. Thank you so much. Bye bye.